Say goodbye to blue bag recycling. Changes to Thunder Bay's recycling program have now taken effect. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Today was the first day of Thunder Bay's new automated recycling carts. Blue bags are no more, and from here on out, the city no longer manages the recycling collection. Lee Noonan has the story. She joins us now in studio. Lee.
Thank you, Ryan. The municipality has now handled the responsibility and the cost for picking up recycling to the nonprofit group Circular Materials and its subcontractor GFL. The switchover is projected to save the city about $3 million a year. Gone are the days of the blue bag. Recycling Day in Thunder Bay now features wheeled carts designed to be picked up by a robotic arm.
It's the way of the future, so I'm excited.
The change was mandated by the province. It's part of legislation that standardizes recycling collection across Ontario and shifts responsibility onto the companies making the products and packaging materials. It's estimated the city will save about $3 million as the recycling program is taken over by Circular Materials, a national nonprofit founded by 17 of the country's biggest manufacturing and retail companies. Locally, they've subcontracted collection to GFL Environmental. The city's manager of solid waste and recycling, Jason Sherban, says residents who have questions or concerns about switching from blue bags to the bins should contact GFL directly.
What GFL has indicated to us is that they will work with residents. So I would certainly envision that there would be some kind of a grace period where if people were putting bags out for whatever reason, they'd be notified to help correct the problem. So I think everyone has to sort of work together here in the first little bit.
Sherban says he hopes the city has done a good job educating the public on the use of the new bins in the lead up to the transition, and that residents are now aware of what can and can't go into each side of the double bins to avoid contaminating the materials.
You can hide things a little easier in bins, so hopefully people are doing the right thing, and I'm sure GFL will have processes in place to check those bins on a periodic basis.
Some local residents were out to watch the automatic collection for the first time, including Melanie Biesenthal. She says she appreciated the clear instructions on dividing up the recycling and properly setting up the bins.
I think it's fantastic. It's so nice to have a thorough recycling program here in Thunder Bay, and it was great to see the machines take everything up and make it happen.
Just try the bins, use them. I really believe that for people that are maybe on the fence a little bit about using them, I think the narrative will be different, a few months from now once people had a chance to use them.
The bins must be set out on a clear, flat surface with the wheels away from the road and 3 feet from any obstruction, including garbage bins, fences, or vehicles. Any materials that don't fit in the cart can be saved for the next collection date or dropped off at one of the city's recycling depots. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
The new recycling program means many residents have leftover blue bags that will go unused, but a local charity is asking people to donate those bags to them. Precious Bundles hopes the switch will lead to an influx of blue recycling bags. The volunteer group uses them to wrap bundles of quality used children's clothing and essential items for families in need. The clear bags are important to the organization as they allow families to see what each bundle contains. Volunteer board member Emily Shandrook says they appreciate any blue bag donations as the cost of buying them really adds up.
We've always used the blue bags. Yeah, and so we have a very small budget right now that, some donations go towards purchasing them. So this will actually help ensure that we have more money to purchase other items such as socks, underwear, winter boots, things like that for the families in need.
Unused blue bags for Precious Bundles can be dropped off at Gear Up for Outdoors, Badani Motors, or the Bulk Zone on Frederica Street. Thunder Bay Police continue to investigate a frightening collision on Dawson Road yesterday afternoon. A transport truck and 2 pickups were involved in the crash, which happened just after 2:30 near the Government Road intersection. Eyewitnesses say a pickup and trailer slowed down to turn left on Dawson Road. This black pickup truck was stopped behind it with 3 children in the back seat when the transport smashed into it from behind. The vehicle sustained heavy damage, but fortunately there were no serious injuries. The other pickup truck and the trailer were spun around from the chain reaction. A city police spokesperson says there's no word yet on whether any charges will be laid. A Toronto man charged with first-degree murder in a Thunder Bay homicide case was at the city courthouse today for the start of his preliminary hearing. The fatal shooting occurred in October of 2022 in the area of Arthur and May Streets. The victim, 24-year-old Michael Park of Toronto, was rushed to hospital but died of his injuries. City police arrested a local man and a youth a few days after the murder. A third suspect, 26-year-old Javon Myers, was arrested in Thunder Bay in early 2023. The preliminary hearing will last about 3 weeks and will determine if there's enough evidence against Myers for the case to go to trial. The murder charge against one of the other accused, 42-year-old Greg Mashaki, was withdrawn last month. The youth will be back in court later this month. Construction work to renew Thunder Bay's downtown North Core has entered its second major phase. Red River Road between Court and Cumberland Streets is now closed to vehicles, and drivers will have to take detours. Pedestrian access to the businesses along Red River is still available, however. Jaden Billick has more.
The $11 million streetscape project began last year as a way to improve public event and patio vendor spaces of the local businesses and give the downtown core a more modernized appearance. City project engineer Brian Newman says this latest phase is dedicated to the replacement of sewer and water mains and improving the overall walkability of the existing sidewalks along that section of Red River.
So now this is somewhat phase 2 and 3, where the pipes advanced up into just beyond the back, as you see. And so now we're backfilling, pouring curb. A lot of the electrical that's happening for street lighting and the traffic signals, that's all happening now. So this is the next phase where we're going to start advancing the pipe work down the street. So that's why the need for the closure at Red River and Court Street was as of this morning.
The newly expanded construction zone does come with new detours. Cook Street's one-way sign has been changed to a west-east route as a means to get around the construction zone, taking vehicles towards St. Paul Street, where paid parking is available, and pedestrians have full access to the businesses located in the zone.
Always our game plan is to try to keep business open as usual. As you can see, we keep the sidewalks in as best walkable condition as we can. Obviously, there's not going to be much more activity vehicular-wise in the coming weeks, but after that fact, we'll definitely make sure that it's very walkable, very safe. Keep the main shutdowns to the business as limited as possible, so that people can keep running the business as they see fit.
Construction crews have begun tearing up Red River Road, included the old streetcar tracks. They've been buried in time under the asphalt for over 75 years. The streetcars ran from the late 1800s until 1948, when they were replaced with Brill trolley buses. Newman says removing the old track as well as a larger amount of heavy rock than anticipated have posed very minor setbacks. Phase 2 of the Streetscapes project is estimated to be completed in late October. Jaden Billick, TBT News.
An investigation is underway after 2 tents were destroyed by fire. It happened this morning at the homeless encampment in Cam River Heritage Park. Thunder Bay Fire Rescue responded to a call for service just before 10 o'clock this morning. 2 tents used as shelter were destroyed by 2 separate fires. No injuries were reported, and the platoon chief is unsure if they were caused by heaters or some other cause. A boil water advisory will go into effect tomorrow for some parts of Fort William First Nation, lasting for at least 24 hours. According to Chief Michelle Solomon, sections of City Road outside the reserve could also be affected. Solomon says they were informed by the city late last week that waterline repair work will disrupt water quality along City Road for roughly half a dozen businesses and about 20 homes. The affected area stretches between Bannon's Gas Bar to the Backstreet Road Car Wash, as well as 8 homes on Quarry Road. Solomon says the community expects to receive the all clear from the city once the repairs are done.
I've been given no indication that there's anything to be concerned with, that this is merely, a corrective action. And I would imagine if any issues arise during the course of trying to do the repairs, then we'll be informed. But at this stage, I don't believe that there's any risk.
For the duration of the advisory, affected residents are instructed to bring water to a rolling boil for at least 1 minute if it's to be consumed. That includes not just for drinking and cooking, but also washing fruits and veggies or brushing your teeth. It can be used for washing or bathing, except for infants and toddlers. Well, yesterday was Canada Day, and the celebration was in full swing at Marina Park, with OG Cree artist Asanabe headlining Canada Day on the waterfront. The two-time Juno Award-winning artist is a member of Sandy Lake First Nation and grew up just outside Thunder Bay. Thousands of people made their way to the waterfront to join in on the activities happening throughout the afternoon and to watch Asanabe's performance to close out the day. He's a multi-instrumentalist, producer, and singer-songwriter who made history as the first Indigenous artist to win the Juno Award for Alternative Album of the Year and Songwriter of the Year. He's performed more than 200 shows across Canada and around the world, but says he's grateful to have been able to take the stage in front of a Thunder Bay audience.
It was an honor to be asked to kind of play on Canada Day. You know, I know there's a lot of mixed feelings around the day. I have a lot of peers that chose not to perform today, but I still think it's very important for like Indigenous people to come and have our voices heard, because if we're not part of the conversation, you know, I think that's kind of a loss.
We really want everybody to be able to kind of see themselves in our events, right? So to have an Indigenous artist up there on the big stage, right? This is a really cool opportunity. Then also just for the community to all kind of be standing out there together in the field, watching the same artist and really enjoying his music. It's really cool to see something like that come together.
And Fiona, a lot of people excited that was yesterday when the weather was a little better than what we've seen so far today.
Yes, we've had a lot of rain move through the region, and in some areas some pretty gusty winds. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we had the rain start to move in last night, and it's continued here throughout the day, kind of an off and on thing. We had an overnight low of 13, temperatures rose just to 17, so well below normal for this time of year. But winds were mostly from the south, 10 to 31 kilometers per hour. If you want to see what it looked like, really affecting large portions of the region, but for the most part by now has moved out of some areas. Others just waiting for round 2 or maybe 3 in their case, especially in the Fort Frances region. They had a lot of rain yesterday. Right now, mostly cloudy in the fort, and at 25, the humidex is sitting around 30 right now. It's very warm, a little bit sticky in some cases. Overnight temperatures across the board, as well as Thunder Bay, as you just saw, were between 13, 14 Celsius. But at this hour, you can see a real mixture. As we head into Red Lake, they're at 18. They topped out at 22 a few hours ago, but temperatures have already started to drop. And humidex there is also making it feel rather muggy. It feels closer to about 25 right now. They've had rain, and they're currently experiencing a thunderstorm at this hour. Similar temperatures in Pickle Lake, so look out, a little warmer at 20. Armstrong and Greenstone, temperatures really haven't moved all that much. They had a low of 14, warmed up to 17 for a split second, and now they are back to 14 with a whole lot of cloud, but the winds have been gusting 40 to 50 kilometers an hour for most of the afternoon throughout this region. Along the North Shore, also quite cool, 13 in Nipigon and Marathon, 16 in Wawa, and Sault Ste. Marie is experiencing a shower. They've had mostly cloudy skies all day. They're currently at 17 Celsius. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we are going to drop very little tonight. Only a couple of degrees to 15 Celsius. A lot of cloud. There's a 40% chance of showers. But for the next couple of hours, there is a risk of an evening thunderstorm. Doesn't look like we're going to get the winds just yet, though. They'll stay from the south, tapering off overnight. As we head into tomorrow, the chance of rain diminishes somewhat, but those winds that they've been seeing in other parts of the region are definitely heading our way, which is probably probably not a bad thing because we've also got that muggy humidex that's going to be moving in too. So we're just about half a day behind areas to the west.
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Fiona. All right, let's turn our attention to national news now. WestJet mechanics are back on the job today, but that weekend walkout continues to affect so many travelers as the airline had to cancel more flights again today, and it could still take a few days to catch up. We'll have details on that and more when your Tuesday News Hour continues right after the break.
We received the email on Saturday night at around 10:30, and we've been trying to get a hold of them